Hey guys, today we're stepping into that mental fog you feel when you sit down to work, but your brain just won't. You open a tab, forget why. You write a sentence, delete it, write it again, delete it again. The clock ticks, your chest tightens, and zero focus. It feels like your mind is a browser with 50 tabs open, and none of them are responding. You're frustrated, maybe overwhelmed, and you wonder, why can't I just concentrate? So before we go deeper into today's topic, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let's go back to the root of that feeling, stress. Not the motivational kind that gives you a push during a tough workout. I'm talking about the kind that clogs your thinking, makes your body hum with tension, and turns simple tasks into mental quicksand. And here's the truth. When you're stressed, it's not just your emotions that take a hit. Your actual brain architecture shifts. Right now, when you're trying to focus and stress kicks in, your prefrontal cortex, the control center of your brain, starts losing power. That's the area responsible for higher-level thinking, planning, concentrating, regulating impulses. In a calm state, it's in charge. But under stress, another region rises to the front, the amygdala. The amygdala's job is simple: keep you alive. It scans for threats, and when it senses danger, it signals the body to react. Heart rate speeds up, breathing shallows, muscles tense. That might make sense when a car swerves into your lane. But when the danger is an inbox with 47 unread messages or a looming project deadline, the brain doesn't know the difference. Imagine your brain like an airport. The prefrontal cortex is the air traffic controller, keeping planes coordinated and things moving. But when stress hits hard, the controller gets pulled off duty. Instead, the guy who panics at turbulence gets on the intercom and starts yelling into every channel. No wonder focus crashes. You try to power through, but it's like trying to solve a puzzle during an earthquake. The psychological effect? Cognitive narrowing. You become hyper-focused on what feels threatening and lose the ability to see nuance. Multi-step tasks suddenly feel insurmountable. Your memory falters. That's why you can't recall what someone just said or why you walked into the kitchen. It's not laziness, it's survival mode. Let's say you're working on a report, you're halfway through, and then you remember you haven't paid your rent. Then your boss pings you. Then your phone lights up with news that spikes your anxiety. Each layer adds a jolt of stress. The prefrontal cortex dims even more, and boom, you're paralyzed. You're staring at the screen, cursor blinking, but mentally frozen. There's also this weird cycle. The more you can't focus, the more you stress about not focusing. And that stress? Yep, it further shuts down the very brain systems you're trying to use. It's a cognitive catch-22. You're locked out of the very room that has the key to solving the problem. And here's where modern life throws fuel on the fire. Notifications, alerts, task switching, they all pull your brain back into that reactionary space. Your nervous system never gets the memo to stand down. The mental fog thickens, and you're left wondering if you've lost your edge. But you haven't. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do, just in the wrong environment. And until you understand how stress reshapes your mind's operating system, you'll keep trying to focus harder when the better move is to calm the storm first. So now that you know stress overrides your brain's control center, let's zoom in on what's happening in your body, the silent, constant signals that convince your entire system you're under attack. Because the truth is, your body doesn't know the difference between a lion chasing you and a Monday morning team meeting with a passive-aggressive manager. To your nervous system, threat is threat. And when that alarm bell rings, your focus is the first casualty. Your brain sends an SOS down to your adrenal glands, and they flood your bloodstream with cortisol and adrenaline. These are stress hormones, and they're incredibly useful if you need to sprint out of danger. But when they hang around too long, like they do during chronic stress, they start short-circuiting everything. Your muscles tense, your digestion slows down, your heartbeat rises. But most importantly, your mental energy is pulled towards staying alert, not staying focused. It's like your brain is parked in a car that's revving nonstop, wasting fuel while going nowhere. Think of a student pulling an all-nighter for finals. They're wired on caffeine, shoulders hunched, mind spinning. They reread the same page 5 times, and nothing sticks. That's a perfect snapshot of what this chronic stress response does. It makes your body feel like it's on high alert, but your mind feels sluggish and scattered. This creates a frustrating psychological effect known as attentional tunneling. Your mind becomes glued to whatever feels urgent or emotionally loaded, even if it's irrelevant. That's why when you're stressed, you might obsessively check your phone or reread an email you already dealt with. Your brain is trying to process emotion, not logic. Worse, your short-term memory gets fogged. You forget appointments, you miss details, and every little lapse makes you more anxious, which just piles on more stress. It's like trying to clean up a spill with a leaky mop. It's not just ineffective, it actually makes the problem worse. And let's talk about control. When you're stressed, you often feel out of it. That perceived loss of control only deepens the stress response. Your body keeps producing those fight or flight chemicals, and your mind becomes less curious and more reactive. Instead of exploring ideas, it starts scanning for problems. That's not a mindset built for focus, it's built for defense. So what do? Start by doing less. Seriously, interrupt the feedback loop. Take slow, deep breaths. Yes, the old trick. It's not just feel-good fluff. It tells your body that there is no immediate threat, and it helps switch off the alarm system. Walks work wonders too. Physical movement burns off excess cortisol and lets your mind shift back to a state where focus can actually return. Here's an example. You're trying to write a paper, but your mind keeps jumping to your overdue taxes. You can't shake the worry, so instead of forcing it, you take a 10-minute walk, no phone, just breathing and moving. When you return, you find yourself able to write a few sentences. Not a novel, not magic, but it's progress, and when you do this regularly, the fog begins to lift. You teach your brain that it's safe to focus again. Another trick? Narrow the spotlight. Stress makes everything feel like it needs attention at once, but focus thrives on simplicity. Give yourself just one tiny task, something winnable. Send that one email. Write that one paragraph. Completing it gives your brain a dopamine hit, which starts to rebuild the mental momentum you lost. And maybe most importantly, forgive yourself when your focus is off. That self-judgment, it's just more fuel for the stress fire. Everyone loses clarity sometimes. Everyone hits a wall. But now you know why. It's not weakness, it's wiring. When your body thinks it's in danger, focus isn't a priority. Surviving is. So the next time you can't sit still, can't concentrate, can't think, pause, breathe, move, and remind yourself your system isn't broken. It's just overwhelmed. Calm the storm, and your clarity will return. You're not lazy, and you're definitely not broken. You're just a human being trying to focus in a world that constantly feels like it's on fire. Give yourself space to recalibrate. Like Viktor Frankl once said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Use that space, choose rest when you can, and don't be afraid to slow down. In doing so, you'll find your way back to clarity.